Well, it's 7 in the morning, and I've been watching The Good Place. I thought I was done with season 2. No, I've just finished season 1. Um, I am not going to comment on this show because it is existentially terrifying, but, I came out to take a walk, as I usually do when I'm thinking about things, right? And I was talking about Freak and how that wasn't open. That's never been open. Who the hell opened that? Holy hell. That hasn't we haven't even attempted to open that thing for once. It's not out of the question my dad opened it, but I doubt it. Maybe he did, to let in a little bit of ambient light in there, actually, but I definitely remember looking at that specific thing a couple of days ago, and that was not open. And as far as I'm aware, no one has been in the barn. So I do not know how that got open. So that's something to think about, because I am almost certain that nobody has been in the barn in the last several days. Or at least, no one has been in, like, my dad was in Colombia for a while. That was definitely not open before he was here. So, yeah, nobody has been in the barn since then, so that has never been open before. Okay. Yeah, The Good Place. Anyways, I think that's the symbol for Earth, anyways. He opened it? Now that's gonna be in my mind. I think, these past several days I've just been walking around, thinking I'll just ramble about some topic, whatever topic comes to mind. Right now, I'm just going to observe mornings, because everything wakes up now, and I totally am not a naturally nocturnal person. That, yeah, the spider, that I had that video in there when I realized that spider was, that the tree is covered in so many spiders. Like, as I said, I don't mind spiders, but that's way too many spiders. And then I saw one earlier when I grabbed my compass and went on to sit down and draw, and then there was a spider there after I joined this Australia group. Yeah, I guess I'm supposed to talk about the aforementioned TV show and how, again, no spoilers, right? I guarantee you it's all a test to redeem those people, right? I saw that plot was coming from episode 1 itself when I first heard it, but I even heard the plot of it, right? Look, moon. But I mean, karma's a function, and if I'm going to be honest, okay, here's the topic. Okay, here's a good topic. You know how, and I haven't played the other Fallouts. I tried to play Fallout 3, and there weren't enough energy weapons. And Fallout 4, again, there weren't enough energy weapons. And ironically, I am not that into building settlements. I just think that I am not that into games that take that much investment. But Anyways, Fallout New Vegas, right? The best Fallout and the only Fallout that matters to me personally. As with every game in Fallout, right? You have the special, that's strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck, right? So that L, luck, you get to choose that, right? And you have a baseline level of luck, and I think it determines your aim and whatnot. In life, it's very similar to like how the stochasticity of those initial conditions kind of alter your gameplay and everything else. You know, every single gameplay you play is slightly different. It'll never really level up the same way twice because the enemy spawns are slightly different due to the timestamp affecting the random number generator, right? But in the one thing that Fallout New Vegas does that no other game does, and no other Fallout game does, and this is why I really like Fallout New Vegas, because none of the other games have this metric. It is the concept of karma and the idea that the game is kind of a choose your own path game, right? You don't really have like you don't really have a specific gameplay you're doing, right? You can one storyline, you can do different side quests and whatnot to create this different side quests and whatnot to create the gameplays and endings you want as opposed to the fixed endings that the other games have. But I think I'll go for a little bit longer for a while. That being said, I don't know, think my bad. Oh, 31%. I have enough for a little bit. So, you have this gameplay that affects the endings, right? And one second, well, where are the... I smell orange blossoms, and I do not see orange blossoms. But, so one thing I find surprising, that Fallout New Vegas, well, karma does not affect the storyline. I mean, I think it does actually. It can get certain factions to hate you. Your karma against certain factions can get certain other factions to hate you, and somehow in every single run I've ever done, I always do the diplomatic option. I mean, I do always pander to Yes Man, but I blow up the Brotherhood of Steel every time, which I know is bad, but they're kind of assholes for stealing all the technology and keeping it away from people. But, and I mean, I wouldn't blow up, what's her name, Vanessa, or whatever, but anyways. What's this? Oh, cool, petrified wood. There's my, is that petrified wood? That's a piece of rubber. But, so, ground. But, so you have this idea that your karma can affect your factions and stuff, right? But one thing I think it should do, and I wish my computer was working so that I could fix it, but I've been having issues with that. Ready? Is that karma should affect your luck as well. Because, yes, everyone has a baseline level of luck, right? I was lucky, for example, to be born in an upper middle class family with a relatively, when it comes to my come on, I am probably as I'm literally walking around in anyways, so the karma is a function that affects your luck, right? And they know I'm staring at them. They're looking at me. Anyways, so karma is a function of luck, and when you feed when you gain bad karma, right? I believe that your luck should go down. When you good karma, your luck should go up. I mean, everyone has a baseline level of karma, but 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 I feel like that is my point is that I think there's something reified, not real about it. This idea that goodness and badness are like spring tensions that in the Higgs field of energies of which are tethered by strings of light that transmit information from memory pointer to memory pointer, right? That's the entire point of this, right? This isn't just a subtle way of, not so subtle way of indicating people's suspicions are true after years and 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 years of them telling me anyways, but the the it's everywhere. I'm surrounded. I'm completely surrounded. But the Higgs field. It's all and matter. It's all memory pointers and atoms are like structs that have certain properties that the periodic table defines to create some sort of Turing complete calculation engine. The smells. That's one of my favorite smells. That's the first smell. And so the Turing complete calculation engine of the Higgs field is like this wibbly wobbly thing that we all exist in any number of dimensions you want to count, right? You can count anything to be a dimension as long as you give it some sort of polarity, right? And the way that things connect, the topology, right? There's different ways things connect. You can have the self-referential loop, which is the simplest form of, well, you can have a point, right? The scalar, you have the scalar thing, and then the vector that points to itself, and then you have the vector pointer, a double pointer, point inwards, point outwards. Right? There's different ways for things to connect, and you're reduced to the number of ways things can connect on a one-dimensional and zero-dimensional / scalar. So one-dimensional, zero-dimensional, and scalar. Perspective, and then move it outwards. And I know that there's possibly other forms that exist in higher dimensions and ways that things can connect, and we're also including those ways, right? And those dimensionalities all connect in certain ways that all have this sort of spring tension amongst them, which is how the superposition of waves work. And what we see is lights being particles and waves, right? We measure a particle because we can't know everything all at once, and my phone's giving me the battery issue, so I'll turn back. So I'll wrap this up. But The way to define topology, is by defining how things connect. And karma is one of those dimensions. And you're either adding energy into this world or taking energy away from it, right? You're either a source or a sink, right? And you're either, you can either be iron, right? And no matter how, and this isn't to demean iron, right? It's just alchemically, I guess. No matter how much energy you put into iron, right? It's not going to do fusion stuff, right? Unless it's process, because you have only for as long, several billion years as the star exists, literally within milliseconds, that the star produces iron collapses into, well, you're assuming it's going to be neutral through a black hole, because there are nebula soon. Check out. But so the star, it forms iron, and you're either taking energy into this world, taking energy out of this world, or giving energy into it. But everything is just the reallocation of energy, the movement of energy, the transformation of energy. We are all energy. That's basically physics. And then the sci-hards always hate to woo people when you say everything's vibes, and then what do you know? Science proves that everything's vibes. But at the end of the day, it really is how much energy are you taking from this world versus how much energy are you giving. And karma is a kind of measure of that net value of how much energy you're taking from this world versus giving to this world. And this must at least be balanced, if not being in a state of minimal taking versus minimal giving, right? And you're either Bunny. Hey, Bun. There's a Bun over there. See, Bun giving the world. A little Bun. Look at the Bun. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but he's... Oh. Bun. Hey, Bun. Oh, that's a hare, I think. Not a bunny. But, hare, not rabbit. All hares and rabbits are bunnies. But, yeah, give more than you take. And I'm not saying maximize. Not everyone can be, but give more than you take. At least manage that net zero, right? I mean, that was the whole point of the good place, right? And it was the whole point of Fallout New Vegas, right, with the karma metric. And more, right? Oh, I wasn't there earlier. It's for real. It's for real. You can add flavored drink Paris to certain calcium-based substances. I'm just not a fan of fish tastes, but yes, I'm so far gone. But yeah, give more than you take. Karma is very real. It is quantifiable. Energy is quantifiable. Actions are quantifiable. Energy is not created and destroyed. And how you choose to allocate that energy and where you choose to redirect it to is a form of karma. And I do believe there is some aspect of relativistic good and bad that is also quantifiable, but it's not really something you can define without knowing everything. And you can never truly know everything, but you can keep educating yourself and get pretty close, right? And isn't that what learning is all about? I'm not going to say a life, but learning. I would like to be better. I would like to improve. I would like to at least try and fix things, you know what I mean? And I will. And I'll keep learning. And I'll keep trying to fix things, and if things break, I'll try again. I'll learn from what didn't work, learn from what did work, and try again. At the end of the day, no one is perfect. No one will ever be perfect. And perfection is an asymptote that we can all at least aspire to be and aspire to approach, right? Those are the singularities. But we'll approach it. We can keep approaching it unless it approaches us and pulls us out of the closet. Morning. And there's a new sign. God damn it. I'll just see what one says and then turn off the camera. Yeah. But at the end of the day, as long as you're trying to be a better person, I mean really, really genuinely trying to be a better person, and not just going back to your old ways, being an asshole. I can't excuse Catra, but she required at least a season of redemption arc, to be honest, but be prepared. I was there earlier, but it's just be prepared. I know what they're warning me about. Oh, jeez. And of course, like the sun just glints into my eyes. Of course. Oh, well, what else am I expecting? What else? You know what? This thing's gonna grab me whether I want it to or not. And, I'm not a go-with-the-flow kind of person, but I don't try to fight the sea. I'm a sailor. You don't let the sea just take you where it goes, right? You gotta sail. You don't sail against the current, you sail with it. You don't just go with the flow, but you learn to work with it, right? You learn the ropes, and you learn how to push and pull your sails and get your ship to where it needs to go, even in the stormiest of storms. And once you arrive in calmer waters, right, then you can dream. Steady seas don't make skilled sailors, and I know that. I know that better than anyone. Metaphorically, of course, but there's a Kubernetes metaphor in here somewhere. And I gotta be a pilot. I gotta take charge of my own sails and my own ship and get it to where it needs to go in the IT world, you know what I mean? And everything else too. And until I can be that Kubernetes for not just this world, but myself, and learn how to sail stormy seas. How can I be ready for still ones? For even the stillest of waters has a flow we must all learn to work with, to read. There's actually a video on my channel doing exactly just that. It's past Christmas, right? But you don't go with the flow. You learn to use it to fly. Not too low and drown, not too close to the sun. Just right. Just enough. Just enough room for enough loop-de-loops, right? Perfection is a state where you're allowed to be imperfect without repercussions. And once you learn to understand that, you can go anywhere. And you had to have a clear karma, right? The clear direction, healthy direction. You can go and do whatever the hell you want to do.